I'm Gabriel Morency for Sports Interaction. With this being our final video of the year, let me start off by wishing you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything else in between. All right, now that we got the niceties out of the way, let's get down to business. Nothing says holiday season to me like recklessly betting on a college football game between two teams who, if they were playing on a full slated Saturday afternoon, you wouldn't touch the game with a 10-foot pole, but we're going to be all over it because it is the first bowl game of the season. And with all that being stated, you know what? I actually like this football game a lot. The Wyoming Cowboys have everything that I'm looking for in betting on a team come bowl time. Now, the Wyoming Cowboys, they finished the season strong. The Wyoming Cowboys have a young quarterback, All-American quarterback in Brett Smith. They have a coach who won't be bolting anytime soon. They also have a coach who's on a 13-3 ATS run as an underdog. In fact, Wyoming were 5-2 as an underdog this year. Something tells me that Temple aren't going to be overly excited about going to New Mexico to play in this football game. Now, Temple have a hard time getting people to go to the link, all right, to watch them play, let alone go to New Mexico. This is going to seem like a home game for Wyoming. It's a short 8-hour trip for Wyoming Cowboy fans, and trust me, Wyoming fans will show up in droves. They've sold a ton of tickets to this football game. They've also played in a tougher conference. The Mountain West is a better conference than the MAC, and you look at who Wyoming played. We're talking about an 8-4 football team. Look who they played. They played against Nebraska, a Big Ten power in Nebraska. They played against TCU. They played against Boise State. They played a very, very tough conference schedule. I like Wyoming plus the points in this football game, and you know what? I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit on Wyoming and the money line. Now, we've got the famous Potato Bowl, and what's the over-under? I'm saying about 72, and as far as how many famous Idaho potato commercials we're going to see during this football game. And you know what? We're going to see a lot of them because there's going to be a lot of scoring in this football game. Utah State are an explosive football team that nobody really knows about. Utah State haven't played in a bowl game since 1997. I think they're going to win this bowl game. Ohio's a good football team, but I think they're just good enough to lose like they did against Northern Illinois in the MAC championship. Give me a Utah State's explosive offense and similar situation. Utah State, really excited. You got to look for the enthusiasm factor when betting these college football games. Utah State's a fan base, very, very passionate and enthusiastic. You've seen them come March Madness time. They're football faithful, every bit as passionate about the program. Playing on the blue field in Boise will seem like home for Utah State. I like Utah State to get it done against Ohio. This game's going to be close. I think it's going to be high scoring. This game could be a classic teaser. All right, we'll wrap up our bowl talk with Saturday night. Now, how can you not have a good time on Saturday night in New Orleans, man? We're talking Bourbon Street, and we're talking the Ragin' Cajuns. The Ragin' Cajuns have been dominant. They're 7-0 ATS as underdogs. They're playing in their backyard against San Diego State. San Diego State, probably a better football team with better athletes than Lafayette. But there's something special about Lafayette. They're creating turnovers. They have a really explosive offense. And you know, you can get burnt betting somebody's late bowl games between the powerhouse programs because they've been off for over a month's time and their offenses struggle. But these early bowls, these teams have only been off for a couple of weeks, and one of the reasons why these teams are playing in early bowls because they have bad defenses. Another reason why they're playing in these bowls because they're entertaining football teams. Lafayette's going to have the entire school there. This is their first ever bowl. Meanwhile, you got San Diego State. It's actually somewhat enthusiastic about this football game. Nevertheless, I wouldn't want to be laying points with the Aztecs in this spot. I'm going to take the Ragin' Cajuns, and I'm also going to take the over. Last week, we talked about Tim Tebow. We talked about the Crusade, and we talked about people converting, not to Christianity, but to the Denver Broncos, becoming believers. And I also told you that when I'm betting money on a game and it's tied and it's going to overtime, I want the guy with God on his side. And God is clearly on Tim Tebow's side, isn't he? Isn't he? He's 7-1 ATS, 7-1 as a starter. It's a magical ride that Tim Tebow's on, but he's going to need more than God to get it done against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. You know what? He's going to need Buddha. You know what? Allah, you're invited as well. If you're betting on the Denver Broncos on Sunday, you want every powerful religious force possible because you're going to need it. But you know what? Something tells me that this run is not done yet. I'm not saying the Denver Broncos are going to win this football game outright, but what I am saying is there's going to be more fourth quarter insanity. I don't think the Patriots are just going to drill them and rout them. I think something crazy is going to happen in this football game, and the Patriots might win, but I'm not betting against the Denver Broncos. During this 7-1 run, I bet against the Broncos once, and I didn't even do it with the points. I took the San Diego Chargers on a teaser. All they had to do was win the damn game, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. I'm not messing with this Tebow thing. Give me the points against the New England Patriots. And listen, the Patriots are a beatable football team, and it's a huge game. It's unbelievable. It's a big game for the Pats, also a big game for the Denver Broncos, who seemingly look like they could be in the postseason. Now, speaking of being in the postseason, the New York Jets could be. The Philadelphia Eagles probably aren't going to be. But call this a gut instinct. And you know what? Last week I bet on a lot of crappy NFL teams, and I actually made money doing it. I don't know what it is. And you know that Ryan wants this game. You know that Rex wants this game bad. Going to Philadelphia, coaching in the same city in which his father, Buddy, coached pretty well. Some pretty violent Philadelphia Eagle football clubs. You know he wants it, but we all know that we don't always get what we want. And I don't think Santa Claus is delivering a win for the New York Jets. Called gut instinct, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win a couple of games down the stretch and save Andy Reid's job. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't like laying points with crappy teams, but what has to be done has to be done. Now, this is another gut instinct pick here. And I've ridden the Houston Texans for years. I've lost a lot of money on the Texans, and I was on the bandwagon earlier, and then I thought, how these guys are going to get it done with all the injuries, and they keep on doing it. But now, the Texans have clinched that playoff spot, and I know that they're still playing for something. I don't know what it is. I just think the Carolina Panthers are going to give Houston all that they can handle on Sunday. I'm going to take the underdog Panthers in this spot. Now, we'll wrap up our final video of the year. Speaking of underdogs, we've got a Strike Force card in San Diego on Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be possible to be as cool as that card was in Toronto last week. That was wicked stuff. That was a wicked card. I like Gilbert Melendez to get it done. He's a big favorite, but I think he's going to get it done. Cyborg Santos, well, she's going to get it done. She'd get it done against Gilbert Melendez, probably. KJ Noon's not a very popular guy, but KJ Noons will win this fight. I'm going to lay the price with KJ Noons. And you know what? It is the holidays, right? We got to pay for the gift somehow, so let's try to catch lightning in a bottle here. And give me OSP, Auvin St. Preux, to get it done against Mousasi in the plus 300 range. Why not? Mousasi, he can be caught, and I'm going to take a shot that he will be. Once again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that other stuff in between. We'll see you in the new year. May the winners be yours.